I like in my head, I was like, this fucking 24, however old, like she's like fucking having a baby and she's scared. She's telling her mom, like,
and
I was like, we're making sure we don't look dumb. Like, this is ridiculous.
That's exactly what it was. I was like, let's be real now.
And then we looked dumb. KFC Radio is presented by Stacker 2 Energy. Loud, aggressive, and straight out of the Attitude Era, Stacker 2 is an OG in the energy and supplement space. Stacker 2 Chew Gummies have more caffeine than other energy gummies while being small in size and, better than that, small in price. Stacker 2 Chew Gummies and energy shots are designed to give you maximum energy while still tasting amazing. And right now, Stacker 2 is teaming up with us at Barstool for a chance to come to visit the NYC office, hang out with the team, sit in on a recording of the show, and go home with a bunch of Barstool merch. Hell of a prize, let me tell you. To enter, go to simply go to stacker2.com/Barstool, make a purchase online, take a screenshot of your receipt, and tweet us the photo with #BiteBack for a chance to win. Again, all you got to do to enter is you go to stacker2.com/Barstool. You make an online purchase on the internet. Get yourself some gummies. Get yourself energy shots, 10,000% of your vitamin B. Take a screenshot of your receipt and tweet us the photo with #BiteBack for a chance to win now.
It's another edition of KFC Radio on the Barstool Sports Network. We're back. It's this is one of the shittier days at Barstool where we got to do like 800 things. It's like 12 hours of recording today. So, big woe is me episode. But, you know, at least Jackie's not knocked up.
I mean, I'm for sure getting knocked up now.
It's the worst karma
no, it's
in
so
the
bad.
world.
And, like, I don't even think it was really that worth it.
And not at all. Jackie texted us. Literally, I know the timestamps exactly. I went back and checked. It was 6:24. I called John immediately.
Bro, he called me. He was like, "Did you see that text?" And I was like, "I don't know."
He hadn't looked yet. I was like, "Go check your texts right now." And he just goes, "No fucking way!"
I was 100% in. I was like, "She's pregnant." Like I thought.
Really?
I thought for sure.
Until I said to him, I was like, "This is like a game, a bet, a challenge."
Even then, I wasn't totally sold. Then you brought up the tampons, and I was like, "Oh yes."
And honestly, if it wasn't for the tampons, I probably would have been like, "I really don't think this is true," but like. But I got to take her at her word in case it is. So
I was like, I have to stop talking about my period so much.
He was like, she was just handing us tampons. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. But then I was like, but maybe
it was like a smoking gun. He was like, yeah.
But I was like, I obviously don't know how vaginas or menstrual cycles work. I was like, maybe she was expecting her period, and like she got home and it hadn't happened yet, so she took a test and she's fucking pregnant, dude. Like I was like, Jackie's pregnant. Like, I was because you'd made faces recently about like
you said something about that
like
what?
that you made a face recently about like I'm late on my period, by the way, or like something like that.
Oh.
And I was like, maybe it's so weird how much we were talking like
really?
we were just replaying everything you've done for the last month and a half, being like that's
she did say this. She's drinking that.
From my perspective, you guys were like no response for like 20 minutes. And then
sussing it out.
Yeah, I know. And then you guys were like, you should see my face. And like then
because we landed on something where we're like,
but that was perfectly neutral.
Yeah.
All of your texts
I
were
wanted
actually
to write back like, great prank. But I was like, but if it's not, like, I'm fucked. But if it was a good prank or if it was true, either way, my face on camera would have been great.
Yeah.
So it plays either way. I was like, I'm just gonna send that. And then his was the helmet baby. So fun.
You guys had perfect responses the whole time.
It was very funny. But then the LOL, you guys are the least.
I felt bad sending that.
But I was like, that's a real text.
That one I texted Kevin. I was like, dude, I think it's real.
Yeah.
Like
that LOL, like just delete like LOL. You guys are the least. What was it?
The least
supportive,
comforting.
Comforting. Yeah.
And I was like. Boop.
I was like, I don't know. Like, I forget. I mean, look at what I actually said, but I was like, I don't know. I think I said, dude, I think it's real, something like that. And he's like, I'm at least gonna start acting like it is. And I was like, we're on the same page.
It became. I was like, the worst case scenario is like she says it's fake and we look silly.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It is very funny that like, it is this line of work and it's all stuff where like, because when I I was actually buying weed. I was at a weed store in Dartmouth, Mass. When I was on the phone at my parents' house when you called, and then I went out, and I was like in there, and I was like just kind of staring at my phone, and I was like, it's so fucking ridiculous that our first like gut instinct is to be like, well, let's make sure we don't look dumb here. I was like, we should like be like, hey, congratulations, or hey. And I was like, it's so crazy. And then so I texted Kevin. I was like, look, like I think it's real. And then we agreed, like, let's just go real with it. And our gut instinct was right.
Yep. Like, because we live in a fucked up world where we're battered by manipulation.
Like it was like I in my head I was like, this fucking 24, however old, like she's like fucking having a baby and she's scared. She's telling her mom, like,
and
I was like, we're making sure we don't look dumb. Like, this is ridiculous.
That's exactly what it was. I was like, let's be real now.
And then we looked at dumb.
And then she wrote like, LOL, it's not real. Whatever it was. Yep. I said my favorite part of it was gonna keep it, LOL.
Yeah. But that was like, that's how Jackie would say
it.
Just gonna say I would have said exactly
it's
that.
It's funny that you just muted it too, because that like we just muted you because that worked. I was I didn't see it.
I didn't see the tweet till the next day. I was like, oh, other people knew about this. God damn it!
Right, we're like,
I look so stupid
now. we just talked about why did we mute you? You did something that was like thotty or something. We just didn't want to see it. Yeah. What was it though?
It was an ass pick on pick 2 on the camera.
It was an artistic photo.
It was an artistic photo like of your cheek.
It'd be on Pinterest.
Yeah. And so as soon as we were like, we agreed, it was like, all right, this is a little bit awkward. We will mute you so that you don't have to worry anymore. Immediately she takes advantage of it.
Well, I was like, I should start like talking shit about you guys on my Instagram.
Totally. I did not see that.
I will, if you start talking shit about it, I will never see it.
My brother texted me after like the cat was out of the bag being like she's doing it for Black. So then you said something like, I'm doing it for Black Friday, and I thought you meant like I'm doing it for April Fools. I didn't connect that you were like, if you send me 15 receipts, I'll do this or whatever. I just thought you thought that Black Friday was a day to like prank people.
No.
Like, hey, it's April Fools. Let me do a fake pregnancy. Like, it's Black Friday. Let's do our fake pregnancy.
I'm like, wait, what's Black Friday?
What does this even fucking mean?
Dude, when I came back I had taken the call, I was watching TV with my mom, and I came back, and she was like, you seem confused. And I was like, yeah, like it's some Black Fridays, like the numbers aren't really adding up or whatever. and then I left. And I almost told her, or I was like, I can't. That's not good luck or whatever.
Aww.
And if I had told my mom, I was like, I think Jackie's pregnant, she would still think it right now. Because by the time I got back, I went to a movie. I'd have forgotten to bring it up, and like my mom would.
So like 6 months from now, she'd be like, so how's that girl doing? She had that baby yet? What are you talking about, Ma?
Black Friday prank, idiot. You live in a world where people pull Black Friday pranks? You fucking moron.
That was after, like, Gaz had tweeted.
Yeah,
like,
we cracked the whip. Well, you got to do some shit. She's like, fake pregnancy.
And I was like, that's going to be the easiest, because, like, because I'd been like.
You lazy bitch.
Yeah, and so then I was just kind of like, because I had originally said, like, I'll play a prank on. I like posted like, I'll play a prank on them for every screenshot you send, and then I was like, wait, now I have to do like a lot of pranks. So I was like, what's something that can just like, I was like, I just have to pull out the big guns and just like fake a pregnancy thing. And then, but then also like, I mean, now I feel so bad. You guys are so cute for like all those stuff.
Yeah, all right,
so
easy.
Okay.
We're old. We're not fucking cute old yet.
I was talking about being uncles to this little bastard,
bro.
This little fucking baby without a father.
Before we let you go, Jackie, I have a question that because I got asked this question at Thanksgiving by my aunt, and I think I'm right, but I also can't tell. Like, I'm definitely old, but like I also can't tell if I'm right or I think I'm both. I acknowledge that I'm a little removed and everything. But she was like, John, give me the pop culture update. And
you'd be terrible with this.
And I was like, I honestly don't think pop culture exists anymore. And she was like, what does that mean? And
oldest answer you could have given.
But here, I was like, there are obviously insanely famous people, but like Taylor Swift, Selena Gomez, Ariana Grande, they've all been famous for 20 years. Like, they've all, not quite household names, but doing stadium and arena tours for 20 years. Uh-huh. Outside of, like, Olivia Rodrigo, are there people like that?
Yeah, like
people like what?
Like, who are, like, 20 and crazy famous.
Yeah, man, like everyone on TikTok.
But like, okay, but that I wouldn't call that. I guess like again, like that's pop. But like pop culture is like they're in magazines. Like that's like they're on TikTok. I don't think is necessarily. Well, as I was explaining, whereas like there's.
This man is so old. He's saying magazines matter more than TikTok.
But you know what I mean? Like they're
Well,
on
that's what I mean.
billboards.
It's
they're in Times Square. They're selling out arenas.
I am trying to think of more.
They're like.
I am trying to think of more. Like
I was saying that like I was like I obviously again I acknowledge I'm definitely old, but I think there is a difference between like crossing over into as like there are sects of popularity where people are crazy famous,
That's true.
but there isn't like that like
It's
Taylor Swift,
regional
Ariana Grande, like, they were mainstream names. Again, I'm not saying there aren't famous
you know
people.
It is, there's no like centralized like radio anymore, or
Right.
or like you get on like Letterman or something like that. It's like this clump of people know about you.
But to be in
you
pop
can be
culture,
rich.
you need to be elsewhere off TikTok. Like you have to
Well,
be you have to be
I-
like
elsewhere.
Kardashians and
Uh-huh.
Hailey Bieber, like Kardashians, Hailey Bieber.
But these are all people who have been around for 20 years. I mean, like,
Yeah.
is there anyone who's
Sophia.
Well, but everyone's gonna be on social
Richie?
media. Like
what's that?
all these young people are gonna be on social media. So it's
Yeah.
like
But like they were on social media and also crossed over into other worlds. I don't think that happens so much anymore.
like Sydney Sweeney.
seen like somebody do a movie and shit like that.
Yeah.
Sydney Sweeney isn't like.
Was she a TikTok girl?
No, she's not a TikTok girl, but she's just like a movie star and like.
Yeah, I would
like-
say
like-
Sydney Sweeney probably. That's a good one.
Yeah.
What's her name?
I was gonna say Sydney Sweeney, Jack Harlow,
Yeah.
Ortega.
Ortega's a big one. The
Jenna
other
Ortega's a good one.
Zendaya is a big one.
Zendaya is a
Yeah.
great
Yeah,
one.
and
Okay.
even-
Yeah.
So I would say that. Like I was trying to think of a name. I think those are 5 right there.
Yeah, those are 5 good ones. Okay. Yeah. You're right. But none of them are TikTokers either. They're
Yeah.
like to be like I feel like pop culture. To be involved in pop culture, you have to do
Music,
movies,
TV.
TV, music.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
like just you can be famous otherwise, but you're just not part of pop culture.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I feel that.
I feel like the whole Euphoria cast is coming. Yeah, I think you actually kind of have a point though. What?
Yeah, I know.
What
That's
I
what
think about
I
it.
know. I know it's
You know
old,
what
but I
it is,
think
too?
I'm kind of
I think,
right
like, the
too.
country stars are that.
Oh,
There's,
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
more country stars that are making waves.
Yeah, there's Morgan Wallen and,
Morgan
and
Wallen,
Jelly
Zach
Roll.
Bryan.
KFC Radio is sponsored by BetterHelp. We are through one holiday. We are through Thanksgiving. However, we are coming up on the rest of the holidays. It is a time of year that can be a lot, and it's natural to feel some sadness or anxiety about it. But adding something new and positive to your life can counteract some of those feelings. Therapy can be a bright spot amid all of the stress and change, something to look forward to make you feel grounded, and to give you the tools to manage everything going on. As I've said before a million times, the highlight of therapy is just knowing that it's there, knowing that you've got the light at the end of the tunnel, knowing that you have something you can go to and kind of just unload on. That poor therapist. You can give them all your woes, your anxieties, your stresses, and it just helps. I don't know how else to say that. And if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It is entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Find your bright spot this season with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/KFC today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/KFC. Brianna had a fucking Instagram story of her and Zach Bryan in the car. And I never reply to stories. I never say anything. I so quickly was like, what the fuck is that? And I've never heard. I watched. Not so quickly. I watched the video 5 times first, trying to decipher it on my own, and I couldn't. And I was like, "What the fuck is that?" And I don't know if this is some super famous thing. I know for a fact it's not. They just got it at a rest stop. Starburst somethings. They were like, I was like, "What is that candy and how is it?"
That's what you're talking about. I didn't know what was coming. I thought it was going to be like a new device or something.
No.
Like way to stop the paparazzi. A new
was-
thing that famous people do.
Bro.
It's just candy.
It's just candy, dude.
and you think that this is happening because Bree and him are so famous?
Yes. Yeah. I was like, what is
Starburst gave him like
Starburst
inside-
Swirlers? They're called
Starbucks or Starburst?
Starburst Swirlers. They're chew. Look at these things. I mean, come on. They're like Starburst sticks.
Yeah, that is
I want to
dope.
get that level of fame one day.
Bro, go to a gas station.
Dude, I spent a lot of time at gas stations or convenience stores. I've never seen these before. I was like, because they even say in it, like Zach like reads, he's like, we got Starburst Swirlers, and I couldn't tell because of his accent. And I was like, what is he saying? What is that back?
Oh my god.
And,
What are these things and how do they taste? Who is your daddy and what does he do?
I was like,
You are just such a piece of shit. It's like I can't call you a fat piece of shit because you're not, but like you are a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You know?
yeah, pretty
Trash.
piece of shit.
It's
Pretty-
just trash.
Trash.
like you saw Starburst and got like gassed up.
Bro, I never
Reply to a
stories,
story
DMs.
to Brianna to be like, where did you get your
I
candy?
was like, hang on a second, what's that candy?
Bro, that is so rock bottom. I love it. I fucking love it, dude. You ever had a pumpkin roll?
No.
I got a pumpkin roll at the grocery store the other day. I think they just took all like the leftover pumpkin shit from Thanksgiving and just rolled it up into a fucking thing. It's like a pumpkin pie with some, I don't know, cream cheese frosting or whatever, and they just roll it.
Sounds pretty nice.
It was a delight. It was a fucking delight. But they had a whole case full of them, and I was like, I think these are just stale pumpkin pies. And I'll take 3. Thank you.
When things get stale, just rub some cream cheese on it.
You won't be able to taste the mold. The cream cheese will cover it. Oh, man. Cream cheese frosting is a motherfucking problem.
Speaking of mold or whatever, dude, I got home last night and I had a peanut butter cake in my fridge. It's only been 5 days, but like it wasn't mold, but there was like some white spores. And dude,
You just described mold.
Yeah, and I just stared at it and was like, "Can I fucking eat this?"
Did you at least cut out that part? No, don't tell me.
I started cutting, and I was like, "Dude, what's gonna happen?" like I was eating around it, and I was just like, "Dude, what's the worst that's gonna happen?"
The worst thing gonna happen putting bacteria in your body.
I've said this before. I have a long-standing thing here. I think food safety is vastly overrated.
I
And
actually
again,
saw a post on social media about it the other day.
Really?
That laid it out. It was like, best if used by means peak flavor. Best if sold by is like just the law that like the store has to get rid of it. But that all of your food can go like another month.
Dude.
I think they said except milk is like the real deal.
milk's quick.
But like everything else is like you can go like a couple months.
I don't believe things. Yeah, I don't think it spoils. I just eat. And
Now I also believe that you're like a shark that's just been eating everything, so like it won't affect you.
Yeah.
If I eat moldy peanut butter cake, I'll probably get sick. Your body's like, oh, it's moldy peanut butter
I'm
cake.
fine.
We eat this on the regular. This is just a regular thing that our body. The same way that like if somebody eats sugar when they don't eat sugar, their body reacts. Like,
Yeah.
That would be us for mold. It's not for you. You just eat mold.
and mind you,
You
all
are
this
the trash
advice
man.
comes from someone who has regularly food poisoning
All the time.
and has been hospitalized with
Stomach
foodborne
issues all the
illnesses
time.
before.
All the
So take it with a grain of salt.
He always does that. I'd be like, come on, it'll be fine. I'm like, you just got out of the hospital.
Like,
you get food poisoning. You puke.
like you
more
ever
than
had an
anybody.
infected duodenum? I have.
A duodenum? I've never even fucking heard of
It's
that.
basically the valve, the stovepipe valve that closes your stomach.
Yeah, no kidding. That thing's trying to run away. That thing's like, get me out of this body. It's trying to crawl up your
You
esophagus
ever
out
had
of
E.
your mouth.
coli? Yeah, I had that too. Anyway, foodborne illnesses are kind of bullshit. Look, they won't kill you, so like, yeah, you'll be
That's the bar.
Few days in the hospital, who gives a shit? I could use the break.
I want to lose some pounds anyway.
My favorite response was still because like I'll call my mom sometimes. Again, the woman who gave me E. coli, and I'll be like, "You think this is good?" And like over the phone, she's like, "It's fine."
I was going to say, she could not tell at all how it looks or how old it is.
But I remember one time I called about a HelloFresh thing, and I was like, "It's like 4 days old," or like I think I got it like last Monday, and it was like Wednesday or whatever. And she goes, "Is it vacuum sealed?" I was like, "Yeah." She goes, "We could fly that to the moon and back. It'll be fine." I don't even know how long that is. That might be 7 hours. I don't even know how long it takes to get to the moon. But
Let's play that game. How long does it take to get to the moon?
okay.
Because and also like literally because like I think you have to like get into orbit. Like you can't just fly a thing right there. You have to,
Yeah.
Like if you leave, if
You're talking about
astronauts,
as the crow flies, or
no, that's what I mean. Like
Yeah.
right now, because I don't think we can even like figure that out.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
like,
you could just figure out how many miles away it is, and if you drove a car.
Oh
60
yeah, we
miles
could do
an
that.
hour.
We could do that. Yeah.
I would guess it takes 14 days driving if we're going as the crow flies, obeying speed limits.
This fucking guy's talking about driving to the moon.
And I would guess to fly on a spaceship, obeying the laws of physics and things like that, that's closer to 3 months.
You think it takes less time to drive a car there than to take a spaceship there? You just said it takes 2 weeks to drive there, and then 3
I'm
months
talking about
to take
like
a spaceship there.
because a lot of times
Spaceships go like hundreds of thousands of miles.
not once
an
they're
hour,
in
whatever.
space.
Well, okay, so
once you
that was
drop the
that was kind of
rockets,
my
it's
point
you're
is
just
that-
floating.
Yeah.
So if I can just go 65 on fucking 495 the whole way,
Oh, so you think when you're floating in space, you're going like half
slow.
a mile an hour?
Yeah.
You're probably going like hundreds of miles an hour.
I have no idea how fast you're going. I think you're going slow.
I mean, movies make it look slow. That's for sure.
Yeah. You
That
get
could
the
be one of those
rockets
things-
until you hit the ozone. They drop those, and then you're just floating.
You could tell me that it's. Well, let's think about this. When you come back to the Earth, and you're flying through the sky, because of gravity, though.
Yeah.
So the gravity is
pull you
making you
in.
go fast. So if you get out of the gravity and you're floating, this is something you could tell me you're going like 1 mile an hour or like 1,000 miles an hour, and I'd be like, they're both the same.
It's like when you take a fucking real relatable analogy here. We take a ferry to the vineyard. It's only a mile, but it takes an hour. It doesn't go very fast. Like if you could walk, you get there faster.
Yeah, so you can just cover this thing up with a bridge.
Yeah,
right?
it's like a mile and a half.
Okay,
or something like
so
that.
you're saying driving to the moon takes 2 weeks, flying there takes 3 months.
Yes.
I think nowadays, we can get to the moon pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
I would guess 2 weeks to fly, and we're going 65 miles an hour. You said.
Yeah.
Let's go. If you would go 100 miles an hour every hour, how far do you think the moon is? Because then we can just do that number, right?
14,000 miles.
I think it's gotta be more than that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so.
I would say it's gotta be I would say the moon's like 200,000 miles away.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Oh,
I don't have numbers.
Oh,
so
okay.
I-
I was like, is that correct?
No, I don't have my phone on me.
Okay, let's see. How far? We'll do that one first. How far away is the moon? The moon.
you nailed it. Yeah.
So then 200. So if we drove 100 miles an hour, so if we do 238,000 divided by 100, 238,000 miles an hour divided by 100, it would take 2,380 hours, and you divide that by 24, 95 days, 3 months.
Okay.
Three
So
plus
that's pretty
months to
close.
drive. You said 2 weeks to drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty close.
If you flip your shit, so now let's see. How long does it take to get to the moon? The moon. 3 days.
3 days.
3 days.
Once again.
It takes about 3 days for a spacecraft to reach the moon. During that time, the spacecraft travels 240,000 miles. Oh, right. So, but I would have thought you're right that like floating in space. I guess nowadays they have propulsion. That's like, they always have those things.
But
where
that's really
that's like to finesse it into
that's
like a
exactly.
That's when you're parking.
That's what those are.
That's when
for.
those guys when you're flying.
And you only have so much gas. in
Right,
there.
we all know that. You run out of those things, you're just floating in space for the rest of your life. Yeah, when they're like, psst, 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 and they just kind of.
Yeah. I can't imagine they're moving. I didn't think they were moving that fast.
How fast? But like asteroids go like a jillion miles an hour.
Yeah.
So
But that's
they're-
what the aliens who threw them started fast.
Naturally, they fired them out of a fucking cannon. I went so deep into the tinfoil hat this break. So deep.
For what?
Well, UFOs and technology.
But what caused this?
I put on a podcast. I saw a guy on Instagram, went on a podcast, and then I watched the documentary. If what this guy's saying is true, man, fucking. So you know what? This is for you. This is for you. Whenever you're like, what? Like, how does this affect me? It's not gonna change the world. And basically, his point is, it all kind of does tie back to UFOs, because UFO technology basically is possible. Like, we can do it. Even. And we don't, because big oil and coal and all the guys who get big money from the old school way of doing things stop it from happening. but we could basically using these anti-gravity technologies and not to get too nerdy about it, but Nikola Tesla first came up with the theory that the Earth just has like natural energy, and if you can tap into that, it's an endless source of free energy.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do that, basically everything from manufacturing to food to construction, everything we do is expensive because of energy. And if you can just eliminate that, like it's basically like a utopia where like you don't have to worry about. There's no more poverty. There's no more hunger. There's no more any of that because we can just get everything we need to everybody because money. I don't even know what would happen then because like money would almost not become a thing, But this guy's documentary is called The Lost Century, and he basically said there's 100 years of technology. This all the shit started in like 1920s that they've been like suppressing because the day that this all gets out is the day that like we're not digging for oil and those oil baron tycoon type guys aren't rich anymore.
But why don't they just get rich in that field?
That's what I say. But it's fucking hard.
But I think my like devil's advocate would be like those people want to be rich, and if they're aware of that, I feel like they would be like, well, let's get like I think
they just kill the people who are doing it.
But like
there's a list of like 10 people that are either they just like disappeared, they straight up got murdered. There's a couple guys that took their knowledge just to the grave because they were like afraid. They were like, all right. A lot of these like engineers and scientists and shit, as soon as you start like being like I did this experiment and I found this out, like all of a sudden like you start getting threats, you start getting weird shit starts happening, and there's a lot of guys who are like, all right, like I'm out, and then they just fucking die, and they never like passed on the knowledge to anybody else, which is fucking insane to think about, just dying with the knowledge of like something that could radically change the world forever, and you just like cash out with that.
But speaking strictly from a business perspective, like wouldn't a business person, which they are, wouldn't they want that to be like, oh shit, this is crazy, let's invest in this?
I think the problem is what I just said though, like what happens to like money and value if like everybody can like almost.
But all that stuff moves so slow, and they're, big business people are so greedy that like that's not even going to affect you in your lifetime. Like that wouldn't happen quick enough that you become obsolete. Like you'll die crazy rich, and sure, the world will change in 50 years or 100 years.
He does go into some like cloak and dagger shit where he's talking about the deep state, how it's like this spans multiple presidencies and multiple like it's. I think it's like the weird people who want to keep it.
Once lies start crossing generations is where you start to lose me, because I just don't believe, like I am around people a lot, they just talk.
Yeah, they just talk. Well, I mean, this guy is kind of interesting. He's like, there is a ton of examples. So, like there was a thing in 1921. This guy has a fucking car that was like an electric car that he was like, this engine can run forever. Like we tested, it just runs and it there's a fucking article about it written, and then it just like never progressed. That guy died, and like nothing ever happened. There was a farm, I think they were called the stubble fields. They had this gigantic like kind of like a drill sort of machine, they said, that ran on like the electromagnetic field in like the earth or whatever, and they just had a completely self-sustaining farm that like used no energy. And there are examples of it. It's just it doesn't get to like a lot of documentaries about the media too. Like there's top level media people who just like squash any type of article.
But there have been so many media people, like so many new top level people since then. Like every single person wants to squash. Like about one person's like, this is kind of interesting.
Yeah, well, I think what's happening is with the internet is that's starting to happen. Like this guy is setting up ways for you to like safely put your studies out there, so like you get fucking killed. Because if I found this shit out and I knew that like they're gonna come kill my kids, I'd be like, I don't know, whatever. We're fucking stick with the coal. You know?
I think I'd be like, I would, again, this is my naivete. I'd be like, there's no way they're gonna kill me over this. This is a good thing.
When they started rattling through, there was like 10 names. I was like, they all just died mysteriously. I was like, I don't know. It would probably be enough for me to be like, I don't think I'm doing this. Because again, it's like I probably by the time you get going, I'm going to cash out anyway. I don't fucking care by the time it gets all implemented. But it is crazy to think that like it kind of made sense to me though. It's like think about everything else that has changed. Like if you lived for 100 years, you went from like horse and buggy to like fucking you watched communication, transportation, all that shit like radically changed. But you're telling me we're still like burning coals to make energy? You don't think there would be like tons of guys splitting atoms and doing all this other crazy shit that's like way far advanced than just like coal and oil and all that sort of shit?
We are doing that, right? I obviously
well,
don't.
that's what I mean. Like we're doing it to like, he's saying we're doing it to like a fraction of our capability that we, and all of those things. Basically, it sounds like all of those, like the Tic Tac and all these things, are just like Lockheed Martin and those guys can just make those.
Yeah.
They just know how to make those. It's not, this guy. It's weird. He believes in aliens and all that shit, but he's like, but those are just we make those.
I think I just think that people are generally good. And like it's actually kind of how like I was thinking about like with like
I think that's where you're wrong.
Huh?
I think that's where you're wrong.
I think generally
I think general people are good. I think that you get to a layer of people that are not good.
I don't think I and obviously I could be wrong, but I think that like most Congress people and most senators, I think they want to help the world. And sure, other things get in the way, and sure, you have to do your politicking, but like I think you get into that business because you want to help the world,
make change or whatever. Yeah,
yeah. And maybe you become hardened along the way, or maybe you become soured on it, jaded, whatever word you want to use.
Yeah.
But like I don't think someone who like doesn't want to be.
I think those people are kind of pawns too, is what this guy's saying. He's like that. There's levels above this. He said that there's. It's funny that like there's the black budget is something that is just like known now. Like there's a budget in the government for shit that like we don't talk about.
Yeah.
But that's it's almost like that we know that, and then there's another one on top of that he's talking about. You know what I mean? So it's like there's the people who are like, I think if you're frontward facing or doing any of this, like you're just part of it as well. You're like part of their game as well.
I guess so. It could be. I obviously don't know, but it's almost
but
like
that's all more. That's where it gets conspiratorial. I think what's more interesting is him being like, we have like engineers, not many. There's like a couple hundred on the planet. Like it's like top level shit of guys who are like he said something as simple as one of the rules. We kind of talk about this on the podcast before when we say we've asked the question a couple times. What do you think is the one thing right now that we believe to be scientifically true and is not? And like one of the main like tenets of I think physics and engineering and all this shit is you cannot get more energy out than you put in. If I put in like this many kilowatts, that's like the maximum that can come out.
Uh-huh.
And he's just like, it's just not true. It's just not true. Like if you just use this machine and this and this and that, you can put in a fraction of this and it can generate like an entire country's worth of, of he said whatever measurement, like a coffee cup of this thing could like evaporate all of the oceans in the world.
But what is the reasoning for not using it?
It gets prevented. I mean, they want to use it. These people create it and they like would love to, but these are the people that all get either whacked or murdered or whatever.
But then why doesn't anything new get suppressed? Why is just that one?
I think that's where I feel like it's probably still relatively new. That like, I think in the past, the minute that like a scientist came up with some shit, right? It was just like you got rid of him right away. But now there's the internet. You can put these things out there, so it's gonna like proliferate and become more of a well-known thing. But I think there was just like so few people in this field,
But like wouldn't like so I'm just thinking like media people, like he referenced them. Like wouldn't they have squashed the internet to keep the newspaper? Wouldn't like oil people have squashed electric cars? Like why is this one being singled out?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I think it's probably because it's so radical. Like I think pivoting from print journalism to the internet is something you can do. Whereas, like, if you took away, it's almost like taking away their entire thing. You know what I mean?
But they could just get into that.
Yeah,
thing.
That's what that would be my argument. Is like stop fighting this and get on board with this.
Yeah,
Don't kill that guy. Fucking invest in that guy, and then you become king of the fucking world because you're the one who did it.
Right.
But that's where I don't know. That's where the I think this guy doing is trying to make that happen. Where it's like what they do is like as soon as it gets to like a patent office, they like fuck with it, and then it's like now I don't even have control of my own thing anymore, so I'm not gonna do it. Like I'm not gonna get paid for it. I'm not gonna. So like there's a million ways like from straight up killing you to making it like you no longer are gonna make any money off of this. We're just gonna hit you with red tape all the way, and you're like I'm trying, I just can't.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Is it because I also am inclined to believe this guy? It actually is like with Surviving coming out. I think most of the world is just like people on Surviving Barstool, where like
I like this.
it's just like it's just like they're not lying. People aren't lying to you, but they're not telling you the truth either. So you kind of just go with vibes. Where you're like, yeah, all right, right? Like it's gonna be a semblance of the truth told in a way that makes them look a little better than they should, or something like that.
Yeah.
And like that's just how people interact. Like, that's why people are like Surviving is crazy. Like it's just the world.
Right.
It's just like,
well, that's why I think that's why a show like that works is because you see a lot of that shit put on display. You see people selfishness and and like
it's pretty rare. Even on like a game show like that, it's pretty rare that someone's just like outright lying to your face.
Yeah,
and I think that's how the world
those
exists
people are
too.
like when that does happen, people are like aghast.
Yeah,
like,
right.
This person is a villain because they did not tell you the truth.
So like I don't think that guy's outright lying, making all that up. But I also don't think everything's true either. Like, I don't think that
thing
like
with those guys
business doesn't
is-
want new business. I think they
I just can't imagine. What I believe is that he believes it 100%, because it's like he's making these documentaries and he's like risking like his life and reputation. He's like, people don't take me seriously. Like I worry about my family. These are the people that he said, if you work for me, we have like a 24-hour security that we have like legally put in that they can use lethal force, because he was like in 1998, 2 people in my company got killed, and he was like, this will never happen again. And so now he has like 24 hours. So all of this shit, like he's at least got to be 100% convinced.
Yeah.
Whereas so he's not like a snake. He might be naive or something like that, but he's not like, I'm gonna go tell the whole world there's aliens and there's not.
right.
I
I think everyone. Like, I think it's always like there's some. It's based in some truth.
You don't
like
think that like the
it's rare. It exists
the top
obviously,
dogs
but
are
like
just like that the SBF. Like I think that guy like got caught up, but then was just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do this shit. Like I don't think he set out that way, but I think once he realized like the snowball was like there's no stopping it, I think he was just like, fuck this.
I think he's probably I got about 6 months left, so
Yeah.
let's just fucking run this.
Yeah. But like that's where I think you can kind of get into some of the shitty, like you fucking knew what was going on and you just said, I don't care.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that always shock me. It's like if you get caught doing some shit, whatever, when you get caught doing some shit that is like it was inevitable you were gonna get caught. I guess you reach to the other side. You just say, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna ride."
Yeah.
Rather than being like try to get ahead of it. I wonder what would happen if the next time that was about to start, if someone came out and like red flagged themselves and said like, "Listen, like it's about to happen. Like don't, you know what I mean? Like don't, I don't know, halt my trading or whatever." If that person would still be vilified, or if that first person would be like heralded.
I would guess vilified.
You think? Well, even if it was it was just like we were trying to do this thing, and like if it's a run on my bank, like we can't do it. Like if you were lying the whole time, yes.
Yeah.
But if one of those things happened, one of those GameStop type things happen naturally, where it's just like, if we do this, the fucking economy is gonna collapse. So I feel like you would almost get some sort of credit for not being like the other guys.
Yeah. You would have
Maybe
your
get like a slap
packs.
on the wrist instead of
Right.
like a full sentence or whatever.
Rent.app is teaming up with Barstool HQ to give one of our producers a free month of rent. I swear to God, we do pay these people. With everything going on, you might think otherwise. We 100% pay our producers. But tune into the NYC office-wide campaign led by Kelly Keegs on Barstool Radio for all talent to pitch why their producers deserve free rent. I think our producers should get free rent because they're excellent at their jobs and deserve all of the accolades and good things that come with a paycheck. Again, I want to stress they're paid money. They get they get like They get a good wage. I don't know what they get. We pay people. Okay, but paying rent, it's something that we all have to do, and let's be honest, it can sometimes be a bit of a hassle. What if there was a way to make it all easier, more straightforward, and even beneficial for your financial future? Introducing Rent.app, the ultimate tool for renters everywhere. Rent.app takes the hassle out of paying rent by depositing your payments directly into your landlord's bank account. No more trips to the ATM, no more mailing checks like I do, and no more managing balances in multiple apps. Get this, there are no fees and no weekly limits. Rent.app is completely free for you to use. No need for your landlord to create an account. It's completely free for them too. But the benefits don't just stop there. Rent.app is also about helping you build a brighter financial future. By optionally reporting your on-time rent payments to the 3 major credit bureaus, Rent.app brings you one step closer to home ownership and helps boost your credit score. That's hugely important. Credit scores, it's a big thing. I'm just learning about this. Really, you gotta have a good credit score. Having that and having it is automatically paid. I pay my rent like 2 weeks late every time. That's not good. I got to get on Rent.app. You got to get on Rent.app. And let's not wait. Head to rent.app/barstool for $50 off your first rent payment and download Rent.app in the App Store today. That's rent.app/barstool. $50 off your first rent payment and download the Rent.app in the App Store today. Dude, I watched Dumb Money last night. That's a good movie.
Oh yeah, I've been meaning to watch that. I heard
it's
my
like
boy Steve Cohen doesn't look so bad in it.
no.
Yeah,
No.
I heard he was
No.
portrayed
Like
as
if you're going with like the bad guys, it's. I guess I honestly, it's because it's still so above my head that like I don't even understand what they were saying on their phone calls.
Yeah,
Like
it is pretty complicated. Yeah,
it is.
But that one was
like,
also like a
Rogan's-
natural occurring thing, right?
the
That one guy figured it out and put it out on the internet.
I didn't realize that he's gone.
What do you mean?
Like he just pieced.
He just took his money and bounced.
They don't know.
But again, because I think like there are legit like people who are like that guy cost us like $1 billion. Like
I think
put a mark on that guy's back.
all I know, I did not know anything. I mean, obviously was aware of the story, but I really didn't know anything so everything I know I learned from the dramatization of it.
Right.
And he's definitely kind of an awkward, weird guy. I didn't realize he's from Brockton, Mass. Like that's right down the street.
Wow.
And
He played it for like a year, right?
yeah, he just
Like,
kept
he
being
knew
like, I just
it,
like the stock. I just like the stock.
yeah.
Like he said, like
It's one thing if you catch a wave like people like he put out that video like in 2020, whatever it was. He was like, this is gonna be a thing, and it fucking was. That's so sick.
It was like at one point he had 11. Like yeah, he did not own his home. He lived in Brockton, which is not a particularly great town. It's very
Right.
much like the town I'm from.
He let it all
Feitelberg.
ride, right?
And like the whole community was like, I'll sell when he sells. And
Yeah.
he just kept being like, I like it. I'm gonna keep it. And
It's one of the cooler like down to ride.
But he's like
stories.
kind of a dorky dude. Like
Yeah.
he's not like he's obsessed with cats. I think his handle was Raging Kitty or something like that, and Roaring Kitty maybe. And he just kept being like, I just like the stock. And like he just did it in his basement. He had a wife and kid, and at like $11 million, it was people were like, you should sell a little bit. And he's like, well, I just like it. And then at $23 million, he finally told his parents, he said, by the way, I have $23 million. And they're like, what are you, an idiot? Sell it. And then he was like, I like it. And
Did he end up?
And-
He lost it, right?
no, the movie ends that he retired from public when he like stopped doing his streaming, everything. When he retired from public life or whatever you want to call it, his net worth was $34 million, but they have no idea what he did with
Wow.
anything, and he's just gone.
So
now.
gangster.
Yeah.
So gangster. Dude, you know what made me feel old as fuck, but so happy on the inside? I saw an Instagram post that I couldn't believe how they characterized it, because in my mind, everybody in the world knows who this is. But the headline was, this man made $500 million in social media, on his social media site, and then just dipped out and disappeared on the world. And it was Tom from MySpace.
Oh yeah.
But it was like a portrayed to like a Gen Z person as being like, you like, here's this dude you don't even know about who caught $500 million and then bounced. And like, how cool is that? And for the longest time, our generation was like, MySpace failed and like
Yeah.
all that shit. And it's like, yeah, failed to the tune of $500 million, and like he gets to live a normal life.
Bro,
So I was so happy to see that article, like giving him like praise like that, being like he's not.
I still follow Tom. I follow Tom on
Do you?
Instagram. Yeah.
Is he active?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
not
so
like
he's not,
crazy active, but like, he's a photographer now, and it's just like pictures of like beautiful places in like
man.
Asia.
Nobody's ever
and
done it better.
It's like
No,
never
no,
pictures of him. It's just like scenery or his girlfriend.
You could
And-
honestly make the argument when you're talking about like financial success and shit like that. Nobody's ever done it better.
Yeah.
Like got in, did something that I'm sure was pretty cool. Like the height of MySpace was probably like dope parties and fucking hot chicks and celebrities and shit like that. Same thing with Facebook. And then you make $500 million and you bounce before you're like standing before Congress.
Yeah, before you have to decide who runs the world.
Right, influencing elections,
I mean,
worrying
that
about disinformation and protests and riots and racism, and he's just like, oh, we just had this thing where like you could do HTML code and you had like you ranked your friends.
Yeah,
like, that was right. I never was on MySpace, but it was like the salacious thing was like you could see who your best friends were and weren't, right? That was the problem in social media was, are you in someone's top 8 or not? And now the problem with social media is like it might ruin the whole world. Fucking insane. But
I definitely always thought of Tom as like that, like kind of like the guy who missed out until his Twitter reply.
Yeah. It's like
his Twitter reply was someone was like coming from the guy who ran a failed social media site because he said something like everyone will worry about the Instagram terms of service is crazy, it's fine, and someone was like coming from the guy who ran a failed media site. And he said, he replied, coming from the guy who sold his media site for $500 million while you slave away hoping for half a day off.
Yeah.
And I was like,
gangster.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's the best at this.
I mean, I don't know actually what the demise of MySpace was. It was for sure characterized as like a VCR versus Betamax. Like Facebook won, and MySpace lost. And maybe it was in terms of like, I'm sure Tom wanted it to become $1 billion thing.
Right.
And it didn't, and he just cashed out. And maybe in the moment he was like, fuck. But I think in hindsight, like, I have $500 million and I just take pictures and shit. I would love to. Does he do interviews?
I mean, like, we're talking about all this while, like, kind of sitting in the same room as somebody. Like, I mean, I bet Dave, it could have been $1 billion, and he's like, I have $500 million, and now I don't have to like petition Massachusetts for sponsorship and stuff like that. I don't know what his take on it is. I would imagine if I were him, I'd be like, this is nice.
Yeah, I think I remember Dave saying when the stock was ripping, he was like, I'm going to be a billionaire, and that's when he was talking about like potentially buying into franchises. Because I said something recently to him about like somebody went on sale. Some owner died or something like that, and I was like, dude, you should buy this team, whatever it was, or a stadium or something like that. And he was like, nah, I'm an M guy, not a B guy. Like, I realize that now. But yeah, you probably gotta really play the game and play it like probably pretty shittily to get to billions.
Yeah,
all the shit we're just talking about. You got to probably engage in some dark shit at least a little bit, where at least you know about some of the shit going on. That's like, I'll turn a blind eye to something. There's just nothing you never hear except for like Tom, or like you never hear about just like this guy is like 100 millionaire or billionaire and he just like kind of lives a nice life. It's always like,
but like I see, I disagree with that. Like. I mean, you've sat on this couch with Mark Cuban sitting here. Like, Cuban would, right? If anyone would know things in technology, like, you think Cuban's out there killing people?
No, you're right. Yeah, they are out there. You're for sure right. I just feel like when you get a taste of a little bit of like the world's corruption, and you're not even remotely close to like the top, it's like, oh man, if some shitty stuff goes on here at my level, can't even fathom what's going on at the top. So that's why I tend to believe when I hear some like the really bad things, because I'm like, there are people who are shitty here for for literally no reason, just to be a fucking asshole. So when there's billions of dollars on the line, I could see it being. It's kind of funny that they're like just like kind of accepted that Bill Clinton was like at the island all the time. It's just like, but it doesn't matter. It's just like he still rolls wherever he wants, does whatever he wants.
But I defend the people who were on that on that plane
for not just like they didn't.
And I think it's an easy thing to defend because everyone was on that plane.
Right. It's
like I hang out with a lot of people. If people take me places, I go there with them.
Yeah.
I don't know everything they do.
Yeah.
They just invited me on vacation.
You know what's funny though? I was they were playing clips of I DM'd with him a little bit. Our boy Jay Farrow, a bunch of clips, not a bunch of clips of him. A bunch of clips started going viral, and he was one of them, where he was talking to like some young rapper, and was like, "Don't go to that mansion. Don't go to that. Take that mansion." Talking about Puffy.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
I heard some things go on there. Like, stay away from that, young buck. And it was like years and years and years ago. And it's like there are always those like. I'm sure a lot of it you don't know, but there's always those like unspoken things, whether it's Harvey Weinstein or it sounds like Puffy was one of those guys, where it's like people do just know and just kind of get away with it.
Dude, like this is such a bad example, but I'm going to do it anyway. Like we have Shane on the show. Shane was in Amsterdam with us. Imagine if one day they were like, Bert had a sex trafficking ring in Europe. And you're like, he just flew me out there for fun. Like, I don't know, man. We just went to bars.
We would be like on his payroll of like flights. Like they bought us the tickets.
Like I don't know. We went to bar. I did get a stiletto up my ass. That
would be so fucking. You actually could construct a story if we should do this to Bert. We should actually do this. We should leak a story that Bert is running a sex ring that included flying like two young men out of New York to the city where they were then
two fairly high profile media members were like
anally penetrated against their will all the while, and like there were other celebrities in attendance. Who else was on the list? Kevin Conroy. For sure you could do that kind of stuff.
Like I was like, I don't know, he just like brought me on vacation. I went on vacation.
Yeah, that is true. But it does sound like one of those things where it's like it got to the point where, you know, I think there was probably plenty of people who are like, I am not going to be doing anything with Jeffrey.
That one is a little bit funky because it's an open secret. I have a friend from the Virgin Islands and she's like, we all knew, and
so like there's no way that the Clintons don't know.
Yeah, right. Like I think I've told the story. I'm sure when we were in St. John's, me and my family, and we rented a boat and we were driving by Little St. James, and the boat captain was like, it's an American pedophiles island. And this was like
everything.
I was in college, so this is like 2010 maybe.
Crazy.
And it was just it wasn't a secret. Like
just known.
But again, not even an open secret. Like it was just like it was known and it was talked about. So yeah, that's
the sort of shit where like I use Clinton as an example. I kind of do think the Clintons have like whacked some people, so maybe they're not the right example. But there's probably other people who are like, I'm not a pedophile, but that guy makes me money. And so I don't care what he does.
Yeah.
I'm just going to ride with him. That's where it's like, I don't know. Can't you go get like another financial advisor, dude? Like, can't you make $10 less million and not do it with an openly known pedophile?
Yeah.
That's where people will just
well,
be like,
that's
money
also the
over
thing
everything.
with those, like, when you get to that level of people, where like when you're talking about tens of millions of dollars, it's not tens of millions of dollars. Like, it's like when like you're talking like hundreds of dollars to me, like I don't really care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like at that, like, and maybe it's just my personality, but like when that, it's the same thing. The exchange rate is the same.
Right.
So I'm
But
like, I don't
you're
really
saying
care
what I'm
about,
saying, right? Like, don't associate with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
and again, it's maybe it's just because it's how my brain works. It's how I think everyone else works. Where like, I would just be like, oh, never mind. We're not doing it.
It's not worth it.
Like, it's not worth
Yeah.
a couple $100. It's
But
fuck
also,
that.
even the more, like, all the more reason, if let's say it is like $1 billion, it's like, well, if you're already playing in that arena, you probably have several hundred million.
Yeah.
So why risk it? You know, why? It's just there's really no level you can really justify it at. But I don't know. World's a fucked up place. We do have Shane Torres on the show. He was in Amsterdam with us. A great hang. Just to like you need a cast of characters on a show like that. On a trip like that,
Yeah.
And we had it all. You know, we had like Bert was like obviously the front man of the whole thing, and the cast of comedians he rolled with, Mark Smalls and Maddie Smith, Shane Torres. It was like this is the Avengers to party with right now. It was like definitely a good time. So he's back, first time on the show since, right? Yeah.
Yeah, first time on the show ever.
Yeah, first time show ever. Because I know we tried to do it a couple times and it never lined up. So Shane's on the show. All right, let's do voicemails.
Voicemails are presented to you by Pirate Water. I have the Irish accent for it, but whatever. You know what I mean. You know what it is. It is the drink for partiers and ragers. It was a drink created by partiers and ragers. It is a little piece of summer in this dead of winter we're getting to. It comes in all the delicious flavors. It comes in margarita, comes in Sex on the Beach, comes in Miami Vice, comes in Bahama Mama. All the flavors, all the deliciousness. Pour it over ice, shotgun it, chug it, Drink it out of a can like a normal person. I don't know. Do it however you want to do it. It will do it to you. If you know what I mean, it'll get the job done. It'll take you there. Where? Wherever you want to go. It is 16-ounce canned, ready-to-drink malt beverage with 10% alcohol, and it's all you need for a good time. Like I said, margarita, sex on the beach, sex on the beach, Bahama Mama, Miami Vice. Dude, have it in the shower. That's the best place for one because you feel like you're in the ocean. You feel like you're in the water. You got the margarita. You got it all going. It's delicious. Get yourself one right now. Go to drinkpiratewater.com. Find Pirate Water in a location near you or order it now on GoPuff.
Hey guys, first time calling, long time listener. I don't know if you can call me a long time listener. Started listening in 2019. I just watched the stool scenes of the Halloween contest, and I think for a video or something, can fights be dressed up into drag? Because you enjoyed that little Kim costume so fucking much, and I feel like this would be a beautiful living your truth moment, and I think you would have so much fucking fun with it. Number 2, I've been starting going to the gym really regularly, and a thing that I've been hating in the gym is everyone is taking off their fucking shoes to lift. And I hate it. I don't like it at all. And I was doing Bulgarian split squats, and I sent it to my friend who has her kinesiology degree and is a personal trainer, and she's like, you really need to take your shoes off for stability for your ankles. So have you ever hated something so much and now you're like, I now have to be that person, and it's for me, I have to fucking take my shoes off in the gym to have stability for my fucking ankle? Anyways, Viva.
All right, let's start with the first thing. Could you imagine if John was just like, all of a sudden, just like every month there's a cross-dressing joke? I'll do that thing. I'll put on a dress again, guys. Let's get those heels out again. You want to do my makeup this time?
Can I? I'll be
proposed this
honest.
content ideas for dancing like 2 weeks ago.
The dancing I want to do.
Yeah.
But like to be,
John's just gonna be dancing in a fucking dress.
I was so incredibly uncomfortable. Like I have no plans on the horizon.
Yeah,
ever.
you tested it out and we're like,
I did
mind.
not enjoy that.
Well, you also weren't wearing like things that fit you, right?
It didn't fit, and it was. I was.
What was the worst part? Your dick? Was it your dick?
Probably dick.
Yeah, I would think. My guess would have been the dick. The shoes, my feet would be my other guess of just like sheer pain.
No, those were fine because those were men's shoes. They were like
my boots. That's right.
They were like blundies. They were like I don't know, like bedazzled blundies. I don't know where they came from. I know they were my cousins. I don't know where he got them. Yeah. But they, the rest, like I actually thought like there's nothing less sexy than getting sexy. Like
the strapping in,
just
and
just
well,
delicately putting it on,
built like a bowling ball. When like a beautiful, like dainty little petite girl does it, it's a lot better.
I feel
than
like
you.
even then it's so
Precise.
tedious. Yeah, precise. Like it is very. It was hard. I genuinely did not enjoy it. So that's not something you have to worry about, I guess, aside from this caller. The rest of the world does not have to worry about me regularly doing that. I did not enjoy it. Like that was one where if I seemed like I was having fun, I was acting very much. But like that was one where I was like, I am doing this for the like I do not want to do this. Most of the stuff I do, I want to do.
Could have had me fooled. Could have had me fooled.
Really?
You were enjoying yourself. You had a smile on your face. You were singing, dancing.
That was all a show. That was you get like 99.9% of the stuff I do, I want to do. That I was not happy
But again,
I was
nobody
unhappy
made
about
you do
it.
it.
Right, but I knew it was like,
dress like a little kid.
I knew we're trying to get these videos going,
Yeah.
and I was like, I do make a splash somehow to get it.
It was great.
A little interesting,
It was great
and
effort.
I did that. I did not want to do that.
I never told you this. I've been meaning to call you or text you about this like a bunch. Gaz came up to me when you were in Chicago and was like, "Yo, is Fights here?" And I was like, "No, he's not." And he was like, "Oh, okay. Like let him know. Let me know when he's like around." And I was like, "Okay." And he was like, "I've got his $250 for him." And I started laughing. And he was like, "Yeah, we just decided to put it on like a gift card because we were like talking about should it be on his payroll." And then I didn't want to get hit with the taxes, so I just asked legal, can I just get like a $250 gift card and just give it to him like that? And they approved it. So like, and I was like, Are you for fucking real right now? This is the most disrespectful thing I've ever heard in my fucking life. You think he gives a shit about this?
Dude,
like, I thought it was the joke. I thought he was saying, like, yo, where's your boy? I got his $250. And it was like, ha, ha, ha. When he walked me through
like,
talking to legal and shit.
You discuss this with people?
like, you fucking loser,
I'll tell you what, Kevin. That bought our lunches, and it'll never be used again.
So you did get it.
I went over to ask Jackie to get us lunch, and Nick had it.
Oh,
I
saw her give back to you.
He was like, "Oh, by the way, this is your $250 from whatever," and I was like, "Oh, Jackie, just put it on that." And then she brought it back, and she was like, she gave back. I was like, "You can keep it," and she's like, "No, I'm not keeping it." And then it was one of those. It was a firm no.
I saw that happen.
So I was like, "Okay, I'll take it, but I'm never gonna use that."
It's like, do you think anybody could, like? I hate you so much, guys.
This is exactly what I was talking about with the billionaires. It's $200. I don't fucking care. Don't care about $10 million if it's the same fucking transaction. As for the shoe thing,
I didn't. I've heard talk of this.
I had this in my years are changing thing, my blog, where like you're kind of getting older, kind of like you don't think pop culture exists anymore. And
what did it say? Are there any movie stars anymore?
Jacob will already throw him on the list. I saw Saltburn this weekend. I was driving home, hitting my steering wheel, going, that's just a movie right there. That's a movie.
He said picture earlier. He goes, what a picture. What a motion picture that was.
It was just like, that's how you do. People say, go see Saltburn. People say, oh, I don't do original things anymore. When they do them.
And then nobody
you just don't go see it. Go see Saltburn. It's fucking great.
Dude, that really is the message to get out there.
Don't learn anything about it. Just go see it.
The message to get out there for everything, though, is like, same thing. We talk about merch. Only shitty merch, like, moves. And it's like, well, then it's because you're not buying the nice merch.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's no such thing as the comedy anymore because you guys don't fucking go see it. And there's no such thing as like internet content is like cheap and short form now because you stopped watching the long form.
But it's not to say it does exist. It all exists.
But you're
whether or not you want to go consume it or not.
But yeah, you don't consume it, and then when you don't consume it, it doesn't become a priority. When it doesn't become a priority, the best people don't do it. It's like, go fucking. And
by the way, we're speaking of Saltburn like it's some indie film. Like it stars Barry Keoghan and Jacob Elordi and Rosamund Pike. Like it's
a big one.
It's a bit,
but it's just not like a blockbuster.
Yeah,
like,
I think it's intentionally so. The trailer's very vague. It just seems like
I never heard this until you talked about it.
It's like a kind of a poor kid goes home with a crazy rich kid for the summer, and it's just awesome. It's awesome. But the shoe thing, I said it in my blog, like the time's getting older, where I was like, everyone, I say things like, I say things like, when did we start?
Yeah.
And then I wrote, when did we start taking our shoes off at the gym? Because next to the squat rack just looks like Auschwitz. It's just shoes all over the place. And it's insanity. People just walk around in their socks. As for the ankle support, what I do on leg day is I just wear a pair of Sad Boy sneakers because then there's no the cushion of an athletic shoe. So I'm splitting the difference.
What's the problem here?
It's just better like for ankle muscles and foot muscles and all that shit
to not have a shoe on.
To not have like support because then you're actually using the muscles rather than like.
Okay, I get that.
And
but
so
we're talking about like.
That's right. I was like, that's for elite.
You're trying to become an Olympian, and we need to make every single muscle fiber fire. You're gonna get your fucking legs and your shit worked out. Like,
do your 3 sets of 12, and you'll be fine.
This girl does not need to work her kinesiology, whatever.
Yeah. It is. I just do it because like I don't know. They just buy my pile of shoes, and I just put on the like either Chucks or something like that for when I do squats and shit. But like, just wear sneakers. It's fucking fine. I have no eat rotten food and wear sneakers. It's fine. It's fucking fine, dude. It's not gonna make a lick of difference.
Do you have another thing that you like another example of that for her though?
What?
When you become the person that's like, fuck, I guess I'll just be the person who like I have to either take my shoes off or be the asshole.
No. I mean, at the gym, I guess I said this last time where I guess I grunt a bit. I don't think that's crazy. The like gyms being like you can't grunt. I go like I'm not a screamer, but I'm
exerting myself
like that. Yeah, I'll make some noise. I also don't wipe down machines. Deal with it.
I don't think you're a sweater though.
I'm not. Yeah,
if I saw people who they need to wipe down.
Yeah, if I leave a puddle, I'll clean it up. But like when I get off
I
the
also
machine,
love that like the. Okay, now it's good. Now, like, as long as I'm not sitting in an actual full puddle, I'm happy. Like, that's the bar.
Yeah, if I was a crazy sweaty person, yes, I do it out of embarrassment rather than like cleanliness.
Yeah.
But like, no, when I'm done with the machine, it's.
I'm sure there are things. I just can't think of them. I guarantee there are things that I'm like not on board with anymore. That either I will continue to not be on board with and be the old man, or I'll be like, fucking fine, I'll conform. But I hate it. I just can't think of them. But they'll come to me and I'll say them as they do, as they pop up. But
she's talking. You're not talking strictly just gym.
yeah, she's just saying like anything where you feel like you're the old person.
Yeah. I mean, most things now.
Yeah, it's crazy how it happens.
Yeah,
like it really is pretty natural. Like I genuinely thought I was always going to be like. I would always move with the times. I think there really was something about I do believe there's something with our era and the internet and the music we listened to and the movies we watched and stuff where it was like it was just inherently cool things that I was like I think this should be cool and we'll be like on the internet and doing all this shit like forever. But like even that stuff becomes lame. Like it's just whatever, the old generation does is a lame thing.
I've also convinced myself that I am still with the times. And just the times are different. Like
that's literally the Principal Skinner meme. It's like,
yeah.
Is it all the children that are wrong?
Right.
It's not me that it's out of touch.
But
It's
like
all the children, it's them.
I think that if I were to do the other things to keep up with the times, like I've kind of crossed over where it's just like, then it's kind of like I'm trying to hang on.
Yeah,
yeah. So like I think I'm just aging appropriately. Where it's like
totally.
Like
yes.
I'm not like fuck. I'll do it. I'm just like I think it's with the things I do where I'm accepting that I'm the old man. I'm not like really kind of being like I know this is good for me. And I'm not doing it because it's what young people do.
Right.
Like, I'm like, young people do that. And that's fine. Totally. But that's just not where I...
My life, I liken it to... like, if I'm at a family party and there's young kids there, I will, like... I'll take a beer pong shot and be like, in my day, I used to run this table.
Yeah.
And then be like, you kids have fun. I'm going to go.
Yeah.
I'm going to go drink wine on the porch. I'm not going to try to hang out and play beer pong with you because I know you don't want me to. And in my head, I'm like, I think I'm pretty cool and I could hang with these kids. But I'm probably wrong. So just like pop in, say hello, experience it for a second, and then be like, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Don't be the guy who hangs on too long, but don't be the guy who doesn't like show up at all ever. I don't know. There's probably some happy medium. But
Like the conforming thing, like you could make the argument with like they were just talking about with TikTok and they were checking all our stuff to make sure we promoted. I did zero promotion on TikTok. I have a TikTok, I think, but like I don't.
Yeah.
If
they come to me and say like your TikTok production's not where it needs to be, I'm gonna say I don't.
And it's never gonna be.
Right. That's like that should be okay. Like there needs to be the world still needs to be like I don't. You do that. I don't.
Yeah.
The need, the vibe of like I have to do everything. I think we will get away from that. When there was only a couple things to do, it was like you could write in newspapers, you could do a movie, you could do a TV show. There's like 4 things to do. You could do it all. You can't do it all now.
Yeah.
You really can't, and you shouldn't. And you shouldn't try.
That's kind of how I feel when you talk about like the like clothes stuff. I'm like there are enough fake experts. Like I don't know what I'm talking about. They don't like I don't. I do sit on the couch talking. I don't want to.
Yeah, make it official. I
try and part. I'll be honest. I'm sure part of it is because I'm scared I'd fail at it.
Yeah.
But like also like I don't think
you don't need another person like that.
Yeah. It's all everything's watered down enough because the internet ruined everything. Go buy a sweatshrt.
Buy the fucking sweatshirt. It's one of the coolest sweatshirts ever.
It is a very cool sweatshirt.
It really is. It's
doing
mantra.
fine. I thought it was going to do better.
Like everything else. I'm like, I thought that was going to do better.
Yeah.
And I was like, motherfucker.
It's crazy. Like. Still my biggest seller, Sad Boys. Just like the original Sad Boy sweatshirt.
Yeah.
Doing great. Like, it's cool. I like it. I'm glad everyone likes it. This one's cooler.
Yeah, right.
What's up, everybody? I got a proposition or a PSA for the fellow voicemail leavers. How about we all just agree to park first and then leave the voicemail?
Okay.
That way we're not hearing the sound of each other's engines rumbling while we're trying to enjoy an audio podcast.
That's fair.
Then also safety. We don't want to die leaving a voicemail for KFC Radio asking them if they'd rather get fucked by a fork or a spoon. That's not good for anyone. That's a tough way to go out.
Like the National Highway Society
so
being
just
like
park, then lead the voicemail. Hold that thought, park,
KFC Radio.
lead the voicemail. If we can remember that, I I think we can all
Press
take
pause
over the
real quick.
world. Viva.
I also think we can agree. Oh, that's the whole thing. Okay.
the whole thing.
I also think we can agree. You don't need to say hello to all of us.
I like it.
You like all of that?
Yeah,
It's
who
like
cares?
if we added up all the seconds of just hi KFC, Feitelberg, Nick, Packy, Jazz, we would get an hour back and forth.
Dude,
It probably is annoying if you're doing audio though, and it's like
He talked about getting in an accident reminds me of one of my favorite stories. My buddy was driving. I think it was after St. Patrick's Day. He was driving and got in a car accident and flipped his car while he was buttering a Dunkin' Donuts bagel. and it was in the morning, and he'd been out late last night, and the cops were like, "You drinking last night?" And he was just like, "Yeah," because he knew he'd passed the test, but didn't want to say what he was actually doing. He
took the alcohol?
He's like, I know I'll pass the test, so I'm fine. But so he's like, yeah, a bit of a late night because he didn't want to say he was trying to
buttering
butter
a bagel. That's fucking hilarious. They made a DUI.
He was like,
'cause
coming.
the other thing is-
He knew he wouldn't get a
you weren't
DUI.
gonna- but in the moment they were like, bring him in.
yeah,
Like,
he did feel sobriety.
Okay.
And
that's
and
fucking.
he's
So
like-
instead,
he's
there was like, this guy's just like a hungover asshole.
yeah,
Not a fucking buttering.
He's like, I was
bagel
looking through the
asshole.
car, making sure you couldn't still see the butter wrappers and things like that. He's like, driving with his knees, trying to butter a bagel. They should not let us drive cars.
They really shouldn't, dude. They really, really shouldn't. The amount of people, it's like one of the craziest things. You talk about aliens and shit. I feel like they're gonna come down and be like, all of the people operate heavy machinery all the time. Like, you guys just allow that, and it's not like it's like, well, it works. It's like, no, like it's the biggest like killer in the country.
Yeah,
Like, it's like tens of thousands of people die every year on the road, and we're like, well, we just got to do it.
I can never find the tweet, but I always think that tweet where like explain to your grandkids like, you used to drive your own cars. Like, yeah, we loved it. Like, why'd you love it? You couldn't drink or watch movies or read books or shave or put on makeup or anything. He's like, no, we did all that. You did all that and people didn't die? Oh, no, people died all the time.
Simply the most. The most.
Literally, until the guns really took the control,
I was gonna say
it was the number one killer of children.
All of the
It's now number 2. I believe this year is the first year guns have surpassed it.
Wow.
But it was the number one killer of children.
It's like guns, cars, alcohol. All the things we like choose to do. Crazy. All right, last one.
Here's a question, and it's a deeper question. Have you heard that recently the West Coast legend himself, Snoop Dogg, announced that he is done with smoke? It's over. He's eliminating it. How could it be that the Dogfather, who once famously urged us to smoke every day, could now be giving it up? This is perplexing. Well, we have now learned, as it turns out, that he's going smokeless. He's going smokeless. Did you hear what I said? Smokeless. Joining forces with the makers of the world's most popular smokeless fire pits, Solo Stove. And he's even been coined the official spokesperson. It wouldn't be Snoop if he didn't drop it like it's hot, which is exactly what he's doing with Snoop Stove, a limited edition bonfire pit. Designed by Snoop himself, each custom fire pit comes with a going smokeless bucket hat and a limited run of stickers. Can someone in the studio please order me one before they sell out? Because they're going so fast it's going to create smoke, but not with Solo Stove. Don't walk to solostove.com to pick up the limited edition pit and join Snoop in going smokeless for good.
Fights, this one's for you. The Lions were just down by 12 in the fourth quarter with less than 2 minutes remaining. And they ended up winning 31-26. My question is, how are you not an NFL head coach yet?
I know, it's crazy. Dude, that was a little bit ago because the Lions got smoked on Thanksgiving, unfortunately. I'm adopting the Lions. I love them.
Yeah.
But, bro, it's every time I see it.
Dude.
It's not even one of those things where I was like, it's probably like confirmation bias. There's probably plenty of times where teams just go 3 and out and the game's just fucking over. At the very least, it's like 2 first downs and the announcer's like, here we go. They don't always score, but it's like, oh, this team hasn't crossed midfield all day. And then they go, hurry up, no huddle, and it works every time for like, 30-yard pass, another 10 yards, and maybe they score, maybe they don't, but it worked considerably better than whenever they were running the previous, 58 minutes. It's fucking insanity.
I got to scroll through some Black Friday promo here, but I want to find the exact quote because it was from one of the Thanksgiving games, whichever one Greg Olson called, and it got close towards the end, kind of deal. And Greg Olson said, where is it here? Give me 2 seconds, sorry. God, I promoted Black Friday a lot. Good for me.
Company man.
Here it is. So whatever Olson called, towards the end of the game, when they had scored and they had the ball again, Greg Olson said, they've come alive in these no-huddle situations. Just have to wonder if it's too little too late. And I said, do you know what guarantees it's not too little too late? No huddle the whole game.
Doing it in the first fucking quarter.
No huddle the whole game.
Bro, I at least want somebody to try it.
Hey.
One of these Chip Kellys or one of the, when the guys come in and they're like, he's revolutionizing the game or whatever. One of those coaches who like comes in with a new style of play. Just try it. And maybe it'll turn out that like it's not sustainable. Maybe it'll turn out that defenses like can play it in a different way if they're not worried about the end zone. I don't know. Whatever the fuck it is. Try it.
But just go
fucking try it. Let these guys just
go
play.
muddle huddle and just fucking like you get a quick breather or whatever. But it's also, and again, I'm always just thinking back. I'm like to pay how the Patriots did it. Like you're very rarely. I would think if fitness level is an issue, the issue would be with the offensive line.
Yeah.
In that fucking no huddle, you're rarely back there for like 7 seconds.
No, it's
you're
quick.
you're like 3-step drops.
Yeah.
Fucking, it's out of your hand in 2.5 seconds.
Also,
like
it's a fitness level for everybody too. It's like you're getting tired, they're getting tired. If everyone's on the move, you know what I mean. It's like I would think. I know it's a totally different sport, but like, imagine if every possession in basketball you like stopped and set a play.
Yeah.
And then it was like, okay, ready, let's do it. It's like you just fucking flow with
which is how they used to do it.
Yeah.
Like it was like set, like
right. It's
you
like just
learn,
go.
just go.
And like this guy, he'll run like all right. Oh, that time those two guys ran like the same route because whatever. But like more often than not, it's like let these fucking world class athletes just fucking sling it and run it and jump it and go.
It's the another, again, it's a different sport, but like that was the 1980 team's game plan against Russia. It was like we're just gonna be in better shape.
Right.
Like we're just gonna be
Yeah.
on them and on them.
Again.
They
Yeah.
fucking just bag
Sure.
skated every single day. Like it
Yeah.
was just we're in better shape. Just get in better shape.
Yeah.
And run the whole time.
Right, which sucks dick, but like then
what
when
I'm
you're
describing
doing
is
it,
rugby.
Yeah.
Play rugby.
it's true. It really is
Go
true though.
instead of football, do rugby and see what the football team has to say about it.
Right, and like your brains probably won't be as mashed in. And everyone will score. It'll be fun. I would imagine though, if you're an offensive line, you're like, I can't keep up with this. Like the defensive line's like, I'm fucking tired too.
Yeah.
Like eventually, I mean, it kind of all things even out. You would imagine, but or let's have like line shifts.
Yeah.
Like you have 2 offensive lines. You can have 106 guys on a team now. And you just let these guys fucking sling it. It'd be awesome.
It's I don't know.
It's one of those things.
Look, I'm not gonna pretend that I don't think the other guys are smarter than me. There's
I
a
don't know,
reason
though.
they're doing it.
I've
but
always
every
said
time
that.
they do it, they score.
I've always said that. It's in the beginning. It's like when you're watching football when you're first watching as a kid. You're like, why do they just like run it up the middle into each other like all the time? It's like you kind of learn. Oh, you're just trying to set it up for second down, and but then some of these things, it's like I don't know.
But then
man.
you like learn things like establish the run is not true.
Right.
A play action fake works no matter what. That
Right,
the
just do that
numbers
every
have now
fucking time.
proven that
Yeah.
the safety will bite every time because you're telling him you're going to run.
Right.
It doesn't matter if the run game's working or not. You're telling him on that play I'm running the ball. So
Right.
yeah, he's going to pause for a second. The play action works no matter whether the run's established or not. I think
it is funny though. Watching people pick apart Zach Wilson, and it's pretty cool sometimes watching like somebody be like, you see this safety right here? Like, he went from here to there just because like Zach Wilson stared a little too long, and that's like he's there to make a pick because he was one step closer. So like little things like that, I can understand that matter, but for the most part, if you just go, that that is only because you set up and you stopped and everyone had a chance to look and think, and that's why that guy was able to do that. Just fucking go.
It is crazy. Like football is one of those games where, and it is every game, but football in particular, where you can see like the little thing that mattered, where it's just like
One step.
We kind of talked about it last episode. Where like, I'm getting better at like learning. I was always like good enough at sports that I didn't have to really know.
Yeah,
like
just do it. Yeah,
like now I'm better at like I know more. I can't do it anymore, but I kind of see more.
Oh, for sure.
And like I
the
saw
people that put it all together that are the
right.
athletes. For real.
I was that sweet spot of talent where it's like he's good enough that he can just do this.
Yeah.
He's not good enough that he needs to know how to do it.
right.
Or he needs to know
We're not
why.
going to lose sleep over.
We don't need to like teach him why
Yeah,
he's doing
yeah.
these things. He can just do them, and that'll be fine. And but the like in the Giants game, like there was an opening drive of the Giants. There was a pass where I was talking about with my dad. We were watching, and it was like they caught the ball. It was probably like a 15-yard gain or something like that. But the ball was behind the receiver, and he caught it, but it contorted his body so much that he fell and like ended up going out of bounds. They ended up not converting on that drive, and we were watching. We're like, Brady puts that ball
Right
on
in the-
this
and he
nipple,
takes it
and,
out.
and it's 7.
Yeah.
And it's like
Yeah.
you don't
Yeah.
really think about that until you're watching it
matters,
with that
though.
eye. You're like,
Yeah.
that's 7 points off the board right there.
Right.
Like,
Right. It's not just like that drive. It's
In,
like
in this game, in that game, 7 points on the board mattered quite
a
a
lot.
bit.
A lot. Yeah. That's the stuff that like the things that the Bradys and the Mannings and all those guys do, but
Dude, Brady-
you don't appreciate the little things.
Brady had that, obviously his thing the other day about how football stinks now, and which is so funny because I actually think I think Brady's had a mixed reaction to it. I think, but I don't liken it.
What was his quote again?
He was just like, it's a lot of mediocre football, which he said when he was playing too.
Yeah.
He said that as like a Buccaneer. He's like, there's a lot of mediocre football out there, and I thought that people might make the comparison to like the guys in basketball. Who I feel like basketball, they talk about the old heads a lot and how they hate the new game and blah blah blah. I didn't think Brady was doing that because I don't think people are entertained. Like in basketball, people are like, we like threes. This is fun.
Yeah.
Whereas like,
I mean, it's football is the only sport really. Baseball a little bit too. Maybe it's the white guy sports. Where it's like you long for the old days.
Yeah.
You know? Like everybody else is like, this is awesome that these guys can all shoot threes. They're all high flyers. They're all,
I thought
think
that
hockey's probably that too. Like it's
well, I think hockey's the best it's ever been.
right.
Yeah.
Right. So like,
But football like is. I thought whereas when Chuck and Shaq are like my day blah blah, the fans are like we're kind of loving this. I think I'm obviously not that in basketball.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I wouldn't know. Paz, what do you think? I feel like old heads. I mean, there are still people who will like argue Jordan over LeBron, whereas like no one's making that argument. In every other sport, it's like moving.
But I think it should be more to like the entertainment of the game itself rather than like the grades.
Yeah.
But like,
But
I thought
there are
Brady,
people who will be like, I miss like hard nosed basketball. But I guess for the most part, people are loving that, like the Steph Curry Splash Brothers type shit.
Yeah.
You're right.
But with football, like I don't think that maybe it's just my timeline, but I know every Sunday my timeline is just like
This shit sucks.
an onslaught of this sucks.
Yeah, and you would think it would just like basketball, like it should just there should be like a bunch of Mahomeses out there who like grew up playing this, but I guess not. I don't know.
But Brady was like, basically saying it's mediocre, and then listing the reasons why, where he was talking about how they don't practice as much anymore. That obviously shows up in the game. He was talking about how defensive penalties have made quarterbacks not need to be as skilled because they don't need to protect their own players. He's talking about how the flags on defensive players are like it's not a defenseman's job to protect you.
Right.
It's your job to protect you.
Right. They're supposed to hit you. Yeah.
Then all that led to a thread of just like, this is what Brady's talking about, and it was just and it was like
examples,
balls where it's just like it's the same kind of thing where you look at it and you might be like, oh, Brady underthrew that, and it's like, no, he didn't underthrow this. He saw the free safety coming, and the only reason I saw
that's
this
the only
thread
spot he could put it without
is because Edelman quote tweeted it and said, thank you for your service, Tom.
And
it was like, watch how Edelman's safe here, and it was like, boom, it's like, watch how Edelman's safe here because Edelman just catch every ball right
Right.
Like, every ball anyone would catch and then fall to the ground.
Right.
Because everything was over the
it's gonna
middle.
get popped.
And it's
yeah.
damn, that is fucking cool that he was putting like on his right ankle.
Yeah, like the exact fucking spot.
Like, when I throw a football, I'm aiming for your chest. He's like, I think it was Brady who said, I don't aim for your chest, I aim for a nipple. And
and he probably just practiced enough that he could fucking do that.
Yeah.
These guys. I also think football is just a ridiculous sport. It's just.
I honestly just think it's too hard.
I was gonna say like it's too hard and it's too like violent. Like those guys, I think were the peak of it, where the defensive guys were lighting people up, the offensive guys were skilled enough to like survive it, and then it gets to the point where it's like, I don't know, you guys were crazy. You're crazy. You're crazy for doing it. We're not gonna do like fucking 3 a days, and we're not gonna do this. We're not gonna do that, and like so the product's down a little bit, but we're gonna like be able to live. So sorry, assholes, sitting at home like complaining that they're not scoring enough points. Like I want to be able to walk.
Crazy how little points get scored now.
They should just like loosen the rules again. And like I just think that's. Let it rip.
Yeah.
Like I don't really care. Do you care if it's like how hard it is for them to score? No, you just want to see them score.
Yeah.
If they change some sort of rule that like corners can only do this much for this many yards or blah blah blah, it's like I don't fucking care. Let's go. Throw Hail Marys and shit. By the way, that Hail Mary for the Jets was just.
I didn't see that live.
I was watching on my Hulu is like far behind. I finally gave in on the Hulu for sports like. Recently 2 years ago, and I was like, I used to be like, I need it to be up to the second.
Yeah.
And then I was like, no, I don't. Who cares? And now I'm like a full play behind.
Which is so not a big deal.
I know, but in this case, my phone blew up, but they were all vague. It was like, holy fucking shit. Did I just see that? I can't believe that. It wasn't like we did it again sort of thing. So I'm thinking it's going to be a Hail Mary. Like we're going to fucking score here because like what could really be so... So I grabbed my phone, being like, okay, like, hang on. I'm basically doing like a Jersey Jerry, like, all right, let me get it out because I'm going to react. But then I did have a reaction of like, that was it? That was the fucking thing? I mean, it was very funny to watch guys take and I know it's like you're an offensive player, but like taking a bad angle on a guy for like 100 yards. Like you had like 80 yards to close in on this guy right, and you just totally botch it. It was just like,
dude,
they just come up with new ways every time.
The exact opposite of that. I believe it was Ben Watson, 80-yard chase down.
Yeah,
in Denver.
That was dope.
Where it's
That's
like
great.
at the one which I believe they didn't score on.
Yeah,
which is like
that shit, man. Yeah. That is some gangster shit right there too. That's one of the most embarrassing things I think is being like the guy who gets caught like that. Oh, brutal. All right, let's get into our interview with Shane Torres, very funny guy on KFC Radio.
We were on the road together.
Yeah. No, we were not on the road. We were like on a magic carpet ride.
Yeah, it was fucking wild.
I mean, that is. I love being a part of something that I can truly say is like once in a lifetime.
That was
once in like a humanity type trip. Like we're never gonna run into somebody else who did that. I don't think. Unless he does it with somebody else again.
Yeah, I could see him doing that.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about trying to run it back. The magic will never be recaptured. We could do it again. I think we've talked about doing it for...
if he just did it to you again, did it to you, flew you to fucking Amsterdam, did it to you.
But it's just like things like that. That was like a movie thing where it's like,
that place is so fun. Had you guys been there before?
No, I hadn't.
I went back the next month.
Yeah, I'm going back in next month.
Yeah.
This man got a high heel stuck up his ass and then put it in his mouth and then went back there with his mother a month later.
We didn't hit Banana Bar.
Did I miss that
scene?
You were front and center for that.
I was at Banana Bar. I was at Banana Bar. Maybe more than anyone. She gave me a fucking punch card.
She was wailing on him with the belt. And
I
then she told him
do
turn
remember.
over. And she put the stiletto up there, and then we all went like, "Whoa!" And like he turned around like, "What's happening?" And,
for some people, that's the craziest thing they'll ever see in their life. And then I feel like, I think I remember like 9 other things so more.
Dude, right. It wasn't top 3
Kevin
that
Connolly
night.
catching the.
That was like the day you guys showed up. I spent the day like fucking. What did I do? Oh. I went to the Tulip Market, and then I went to the Van Gogh Museum. Because I'm like a little art fart, lefty. And I was like, look at you getting some culture. And then I was like, I'm the biggest fucking bro who's ever. I'm in the red light district, drunk off my ass with one of the cast members from Entourage, and a guy who never wears a shirt that calls himself the Machine. Like there's no fucking
Yeah, who
way
are you?
you're an artist. You're like, you just
can't
lean
put
into the
lipstick on
dick
that
jokes,
pig, man.
Torres. Yeah.
All right, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, like, and leave a comment below. Click that button.
Or I'll cut off my finger.